Greetings, Hoodoo family. I hope this video finds you well and that you're growing strong in your Hoodoo power. And I really, really mean that. Thank you to all of my subscribers and visitors to my channel. And for those who are new to the channel, I just want you to know that I like to focus on traditional Hoodoo, or I'll share my work that has worked for me, but that too is based on tradition. So, root work, working with nature, is my passion. And I like to try and make the ancestors proud in all that I do. So, you don't have to worry about me changing lanes, becoming new age, or switching to this system or that system. And I respect all the other systems, I honor them. But Hoodoo is for me. This is my path and what this channel is about. So I just want to give you a little bit of what this channel focuses on if you haven't already noticed. Once again, family, going down memory lane to interesting Hoodoo encounters in my younger years. So I want to tell you about an old Hoodoo spell. And I've never seen anything like this in all my life, but this is representative of that old brutal Hoodoo work. And this work, I think, would go back to like the 20s, the 30s, on up through the 60s. So I've seen some Hoodoo spells in my years on this earth, but I've never seen anything like this one that I'm about to tell you about. I'll never forget, because it just literally unfolded in front of my eyes. So you'll hear me talk a lot about bootlegger houses in my videos and some of these stories because growing up in the county that I lived in, this county was dry. No one could sell or buy liquor. So bootlegger houses became the hot spot. Before we had clubs, people used to hang out in the bootlegger houses. And you know what's interesting is that some of your biggest deacons and your mothers in church were also your biggest bootleggers. So, anyway, I had an older cousin who was a bootlegger. And as a boring teenager, I would used to go over her house and kind of be like a fly on the wall, just listening in and watching, what the grown people was doing, what they were saying. And of course, I didn't drink or anything like that. I was literally just a fly on the wall. And I'll never forget, there was this man who was always at her house. He was married, but he had a long history of cheating on his wife, taking care of his side chicks. He had money, so he was always popular with the women, but he didn't treat his wife so well. He gave more attention, more gifts, more money to his side chicks than his wife. And he didn't care. He didn't care if she knew about his affairs, and she did. In fact, the wife would often see him and the side chick. She would see them riding around town. So, as to be expected, conflict grew between him, the wife, and the side chick. And the wife left him, and his side chick was becoming more needy and demanding. And one thing I did notice is that this particular man, he was only popular with a few people. He didn't have any men friends, he didn't have any connections with respectable women and families in the community. He was kind of like the king amongst those who didn't have much. But my cousin had told me that he had also did hoodoo. He wasn't a practitioner that did work for others. He did hoodoo for himself. And he knew hoodoo because it was passed down through his family lineage. And because of this, a lot of people didn't like to fool with him because he's done some really shady things, to people in the past. So let me get on with this story. One night I was over my cousin's house, and me, my cousin, and this man, we were all sitting out on the porch. Well, this man got up and he walked over to this old beat up pot that my cousin had sitting in the yard. Now, forewarning, this is going to be gross to some of you. But he coughed up the biggest, nastiest green and blackish glob, spat it right into that pot. And he took out a cigarette lighter and he touched the flame of that lighter to the glob, and it just burst into flames. Me and my cousin jumped. We looked at each other with shock and concern because we both knew instantly that this man had a root not on him, but in him. And he knew it. And he was trying to turn that root back on whomever sent it to him. That's why he set it on fire. But that's hard to do because you're only burning a portion of it. That root was inside of him. Now, I don't know who put that root on that man, but it was a powerful one. And the only one that I could think of, something that could do this to a person, was binding with a Jimson weed flower. Now, if you don't know, a Jimson weed flower is just very sweet smelling, beautiful, beautiful flower, but toxic as all get out. Binding someone to the flower destroys them through their lust. The person is bound by both their stomach and their nature. So the more lust that they have, the weaker they become. Now, I watched this man just slowly deteriorate and become an invalid. All the side chicks disappeared. And guess who ended up taking care of him, helping him walk, feeding him like a baby, dressing him, bathing him, because he couldn't do any of these things for himself? His wife ended up the one who took care of him. Family, my point is to be careful what you consume. Be careful what goes in your mouth, because once you get a root in you, it's hard, if not impossible, to get it out. Now, family, I have another story to tell you on this same point, something that happened to my grandma. So stay tuned. It's coming up next on my channel. See you in the next video.